I'm Colleen Rogers with Palm Harbor Homes, here to talk to you about taking Lasso, your CRM or your customer relationship management database, and using it to send mass mails to your customers and to your prospects. This is the number one way of reaching your warms or your colds, and even your hots. So today we're going to talk about how to do that, and we're going to spend about 30 minutes in this video and about 15 minutes in another video. We're going to break it into two steps, because when you send a mass mail, there's a couple things you have to do. First of all, you have to create your template. Then you have to create the list of people that you're going to send it to. And then finally, you have to know the actions that you have to take to send that mass mail and what it looks like and how you can read the results of that mass mail. You're actually going to know which people opened it, which people didn't, which people bounced back. So there's going to be a lot of information. We're going to take several steps and break it into these steps so it's easy for you to follow and for you to do. So the first thing you need to know about mass mailing before we even jump over to the computer is that you cannot send a mass mail to your customers if you don't get the email. This is where I stop and say, get the email, get the email, get the email address. And somebody says, oh, Colleen, my customers say they don't have email addresses. Well, let me tell you that statistics say that 2 to 3%, only 2 to 3% of the people in the United States don't have email addresses. So what we say with that customer is we kind of role play and we say something like, great, thanks for coming in. I'm going to get your name and some important information. And the way I'm going to be able to tell you about houses that become available or great special offers is via email. That's how we communicate around here. So what's your email address? Not can I get your email address, but what's your email address? And if they say they don't have one, say, okay, what's your wife's email address or your husband's email address or a child? And of course, we don't want to upset anyone, but we need to make it where it's part of every activity. That means that no more than 2 or 3 out of every 10 customers you see should you not have an email address. General managers, when you're looking at your lists of customers for your salespeople, pay special attention to hots and customers and warms who don't have email addresses. We really don't want that to happen because we can't communicate with people if we don't have their email addresses. Also, one thing you may not be familiar about with email inside of Lasso is that every email that you send to a customer who is registered in Lasso is copied over to that Lasso account. So if I'm emailing from a palmharbor.com email address, which is the only email address you should ever be contacting a customer from, if you're sending an email to a registrant inside who is registered in Lasso, that email is going to be copied to that registrant's profile. Even if you're not doing it inside Lasso, it's going to be going through a mailbox that's going to sort and say, oh, is this customer inside of a registrant in Lasso? And if it is, it's going to append that email to that registrant's profile inside of Lasso. So I just want to make sure that you know that not just mass emails, but any kind of email that you send out will be appended to that registrant's profile inside of Lasso. So with all of that information, we're going to stop here, or actually get started here, and switch over to the computer and start talking about how to set up your files and then how to set up templates inside of Lasso. Step to creating a mass email is to create your template. As a new salesperson or a person who hasn't created a template before, you need to know where your templates are located. Those are up here at the very top in the Marketing tab. If you click on the Marketing tab or the drop down right next to it, you will see that there is the bottom one is marked Templates. When you click on that, it's going to take you to our template environment. And you can see over here we have 3 file drawers. We have one called GM Follow-Up, and that's where all the GM templates are located. We have one Marketing Templates, and then we have one Salesperson Follow-Up. So basically, we have all of our templates dumped into a 3-drawer filing cabinet. Yours in your store may be a 2-drawer filing cabinet. But what that means is they're all just dumped in the drawer together, and every salesperson is having to go in and personalize each of the templates before they send them out. They have to put in their information and send it out, and it's slow and it's inefficient and it's messy. Somebody might not delete their information, or they might write over somebody else's. So the very first thing we want to do when we get started as a new salesperson is to go in under salesperson follow-up and create our own folder in that drawer, so we can put all of the templates that we want to use in there, and then we can personalize them with our information, and then we can also in that same file folder create new templates that we want to use for mass mailings. So this first step is to highlight the salesperson follow-up, and then you're going to go up here to the right where you see that green plus sign. Inside of Lasso, anytime you see a plus sign, it means that you can add something. And right here, when we mouse over it, it says we can create a folder, and that's exactly what we want to do. We want to create a folder inside the salesperson follow-up drawer with all of our templates. So we're going to click on that, and it's going to ask us, what do you want to name that folder? And you can name it anything you want. In fact, you can have as many folders inside of there as you want to. Let's say you're pretty organized and you'd like to have a file folder for your CSI email. You'd like to have a file folder for your e-lead follow-up, and then maybe you'd like to have a file folder for your promotions that you want to send out. So you could create as many as you wanted. But for today's purpose, we're just going to create one, and I'm going to call it Colleen's Templates. Now there's a button right down here that says share this folder with the team. And for my private templates, I really don't want to share those with the team. Maybe eventually at my store I'll create one that says that's for the whole store, that's called a shared file. And as we create templates that we want to share with other people in the store, we can copy them over there, and they can also make copies of them and use them. Or perhaps inside of our store, each one of us wants to take a different house and create a template that has pictures and links to that house on the website. We could each do that and then put copies of those into that shared file. That way it would save each of us a lot of time. We wouldn't have to all create one for every house. But that's not today. Today we just want to start with our basic file folder that's just ours. Nobody else can accidentally get in there and type their information over it, so we're not going to share it with the team. We're just going to click this green button right here and say Create Folder. So now you can see right under the salesperson follow-up inside of that drawer, I now have a file called Colleen's Templates. And when I click on it, it's empty because I haven't put anything in it. I just put an empty file folder in there. Now I do know that the very first thing I want to do is I want to go back here to salesperson follow-up, and all of these templates that are here that the company has given and assigned to us in our tasks, I definitely want to make a copy of all of those and copy them over to my file folder so that I can personalize them with my own information, my own verbiage, maybe even add photos of myself or whatever that I want to do. So the very first step I take then is to click right here at the top, and you can see that when I did that, it's going to highlight every one of the templates that I want to move over. Now let's say that there was one in here that I didn't want to use, or maybe there was only one that I did want to use. I could simply uncheck or check that one. Whichever ones are checked, I will make a copy of over into my folder. So at this point in time, though, I'm going to copy all of those over to my folder. So I come up to the top here where it says Copy Move. I click on that, and it says, where do you want to move these? Well, I'm going to go down here to Salesperson Follow-Up and look for my file folder. And there I see it right there, Colleen's Templates. So I'm going to highlight that. And now note that's the only one in blue. And then I have options here, Copy, Move, and Cancel. Please don't move the main Salesperson Follow-Up templates. Just copy them. So I'm going to click the green Copy button. When I do that, it's going to say, okay, where do you want to copy these? And I'm going to click on Salesperson Follow-Up here and look for my file folder. There it is, and I'm going to click the Copy button. And when I click Copy, then you will notice that over in your file folder, now I'm in my file folder, my templates, you'll see that now I have copies of all of these templates over here in my file. So what I can do now is I can begin to update these with my contact information. And let's get started with this first one. It's a really important one. Everyone should be using it on a regular basis. It's the first visit follow-up email, one day after the visit. This should be going out after to every person who comes in to visit you. So to edit this and make it my own, I'm going to uncheck that. I simply click on the name. To edit it, you simply click on the name of the template. And when you do that, it's going to open it up in an environment where you can read the existing body of that template and decide if this is the one you want to work on. You'll notice right away that when you click through here, it says, "Hi, Jane." And you're wondering, who is Jane? I don't have anybody in my database named Jane. Well, Jane Doe is the placeholder for the registrant name. This file and this template and any other template that you have that has Jane in it, when you look at it, is going to drop every registrant's first name there, and Jane is simply a placeholder. When you see John Smith down here, that's a placeholder for you, the salesperson's name. Eventually it will drop your name in there when you actually send it out from yourself. So looking at that, we know we want to edit this. And where do I edit it? I'm going to go up here to the top right. The very top right, furthest button on the right is edit, and I'm going to click on that edit button. When I do, it's going to take me to an environment that looks an awful lot like email, and I feel pretty comfortable right away. The first thing that you want to do, the very first thing that you want to do when you edit a template or when you create a template, the very first thing that you always want to do when you edit a template or create a template is to put your initials at the top, just like this at the beginning. Why do you want to do that? This is basically just a life hack that's going to save you a lot of time, because you're going to come quite often to a long list of templates that are in alphabetical order. And if everybody just has theirs in there, you're going to have to open them and see whose they are. But if you have put your initials at the beginning of every one of your templates, they're going to all be grouped together because they're in alphabetical order, and they're going to be easy for you to find and easier for you to know that you've already updated that one and to know which one is yours. So always put your initials at the beginning. If you don't remember to do it the first time, you can always come back and just edit that name. Also, one thing you need to know here is that the name of the template is something that only you will see. The customer will never ever see that. So name the template something that's meaningful to you when you're looking at a long list of templates. What's inside that template or whatever will help you know if that's the one you want to choose. Now we come down to the subject. And the subject is super, super important. In fact, you want to personalize this and put a WIFM in there as often as you can. In case you're not familiar with WIFM, that means what's in it for me. So we want to give that customer something that lets them know that this is personal and it's for them. Now, they've already dropped something, they being Lasso, have already dropped this little hashtag, registrant first name hashtag in here. That's that token that's going to go up and grab the registrant's first name and drop it in there for you automatically. You're not going to have to type it in. Now it says, "Thanks for visiting Palm Harbor." And that sounds like a good start, but it's actually kind of generic, especially if you're in an area that has cross-shopping. So for me, what I like to do, I like to put my own name in there. "Thanks for visiting Colleen at Palm Harbor in Addison." So I want them to know right away that it's personal and that it's from me, not some other store in my area. So you feel free to edit that subject and make it something that is personal and will cause that recipient to open it. Now we're going to get down here. We're going to take a look at the body. It says, "Thank you for visiting." Again, I'm kind of anal about this whole personalization thing, so I'm going to say, "Thanks for visiting me at Palm Harbor in Addison, Texas." I don't want them to think it's from the corporate office or anything like that, so I'm going to personalize that. Now I'm reading the first line, "Hi," and there again it's going to put in the registrant's first name, so I don't want to mess with that. "Thanks so much for visiting us today at Palm Harbor." Ugh, that today. I'm good, but I can't guarantee that I'm always going to get this out on the same day that they visited, so I'm going to take that today out of there. And then I can edit any of the rest of this text or all of the rest of this text if you prefer to. Just make sure you spell things correctly when you send out an email like this. Thanks for visiting us at Palm Harbor. It was great to meet you, and I hope I was able to answer your questions about our company, our homes, and our processes. I'm excited about working with you to help you find your dream home. That sounds pretty good. I could drop a y'all in there or do whatever I wanted to get a little bit more personal if I needed to, but I think it's a good start. Then I'm going to say, and here it says, I'll be following up with you soon as we discussed when you visited our offices. In the meantime, if you have any questions, if I can help in any way, don't hesitate to call me. And here it's going to drop in, where you see that little token, it's going to drop in your office phone number. If you want something more personal, like if you have a direct line or you want your cell phone number, you can say, or on my cell, and drop in your cell phone number at 877-9739. Drop that in there. And then it's going to drop in your Palm Harbor email address. You could put your own in there if you wanted to, but that works for me. Now we get down to the closing. It says, thanks again for taking your time to visit with us at our model center. And I'm going to say, in Addison, exclamation point, and make any corrections in there. And then I want to add something that's super, super, super important. I said super 4 times, and we're probably going to say it 3 or 4 more times because this is super important. If you've kind of dozed off during my little talk, this is what you need to pay attention to here. Every email that goes out from Lasso should have at least one link to the palmharbor.com website. Every email that goes out from Lasso should have at least one link to something inside of palmharbor.com. Why? Because when a registrant who receives a Lasso email clicks through on a link to our website, Lasso plants a cookie on their device that is going to link their IP address for that device to their Lasso profile, and then link it to the website link. So all 3 of those things are going to be linked if you do what I show you in just a moment. Then what that does for you is every time that customer comes back to the website, you're going to get an email that says, hey, so-and-so registrant is back on the website. It's also going to begin to track the pages that they're looking at. So you can see exactly what pages they were looking at and follow up with them the next day. Again, we don't ever want to say, hey, I noticed you were looking at the label yesterday. Did you like it? You would just say something more generic, like was looking at the label on our model center yesterday and was thinking of you. It's on sale or something like that. Make it more generic. So how do I create this special link with the magic that's going to link it back to the website? Well, first of all, we're going to type in our sentence that says, in the meantime, please visit us online at www.addison.palmharbor.com for more photos of our beautiful homes, special offers, virtual tours, and floor plans. You'll notice that I put something I like to call liberally clickbait here. I tried to make that as appetizing as it can be, hoping that someone will want to see more photos, someone will want to see special offers, virtual tours, and floor plans, because I really want to plant that link. So now, most of you are probably smart enough to know that that right there is already a link. And if they click through right now, that it would create, that they would go straight to my website. But what we have to do is add this magic. We want to add that cookie. We want to plant that cookie on their website. So how do I do that? I'm going to scroll back up here to the top, and I'm going to be looking for those little handcuffs or the little bracelet links right there. And then I'm going to go over to my website, and I'm going to grab the URL from the website, and I'm going to put it there. I would simply copy and paste. If I had left this site and gone to another, I would have copied it, and then I would have clicked right here, and I would have clicked paste had I done that. Then I'm going to come down here, and this is where the magic happens. This is where we plant the cookies for the future. Enable website tracking. I would click right there, and then I would say, okay. Then anyone who clicks through there would plant the cookie on their device, and I would get notified when they came back to my website. Now I'm going to stop right here and talk just a little bit to some of you who may have already experienced some of those emails. Some of them are great. It's awesome when you get notified that a customer you hadn't thought of in a while is back on your website, or someone who you hadn't responded to you. But what about those people we like to call the Palm Harbor Dreamers? What's a Palm Harbor Dreamer? Oh, that's the person who clicks on the label at 3 o'clock in the morning 40 times while they're sitting at Taco Bell. And they won't respond to any of our emails, they won't call us back, but they keep looking at one of the houses on our website, and they're not going to buy. If you're convinced that this person who keeps looking at the website and you keep getting emails on them isn't going to buy, take a look at those emails that you're getting that tell you that they're on the website. The very last line in that email lets you know that there's a link there that you can click to no longer get notifications when this person visits the website. So you can simply click that last line, and you will no longer get notifications when that person visits the website. But for this one, we do want to get notified. In fact, we might also want to highlight special offers and go over to our website, navigate to the special offers page, copy that URL up in the address bar, and then come back here and add another link right here. Just paste that URL there, and enable website tracking, click that, and then say okay. You can do as many as you want. So that's a very helpful feature that you'll use a lot. And it's super important. Again, every email that goes out from palmharbor.com should have a link in it that has been linked with a cookie planter on it. Then you can come down here to the bottom, and you can see that you could enter your phone number and your email here. Another thing people have asked me that you could add your cell phone number in here. You could also say find me on Facebook, and you could highlight that, go back up to your links. Let's go back up here to your links, open that up, and then navigate over to your Facebook page and grab that address and paste it right there, and then link that. So you can add as many links as you want to for things on and off the website. Then you would have that in here, and that would go out with your email. Once you think you're finished with that, you can go back up here to the top, and when you get to the top, you want to click Save Template. We're going to save that template, and we're going to hit this back arrow right here. It'll tell you when it's been saved, and we're going to hit this back arrow, and it's going to let us look at the changes that we've already made. Well, obviously I can see right here that I misspelled Addison, and I don't want to do that. But everything else looks pretty good. So I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to click the Edit button again, and I'm going to drop an S in Addison. And in fact, I'm going to click the Enter button right there because I think that's a little hard to read. And I like that better. And then I'm going to save the template, and I'm going to go back over here, and I like the way that looks. Now here I am. This one is not too complicated, but if I wanted to, notice that there's a little feature over here that says Send Test Email. This is especially handy if you're creating your own from scratch, which we'll do in a few minutes. But you can click on that Send the Test Email button, and you'll come over here, and you're going to click on Edit. It's not very intuitive, but right next to Send Test Email, you're going to click on Edit, and this is where you're going to add in the recipient email addresses. You can either add in your email address at Palm Harbor Homes, or you could send one to your significant other or to your Gmail account. I always like to send one to my Gmail account so that I can see what it looks like and inside of Gmail. And here I'm going to send one here. Your GM may want to read it, or your sales manager. But even if you're only going to add one, always click this Add Recipient button. A lot of people will call me and say, Colleen, I never got my email, my test email. If you click the Add Recipient, then it adds it up here. That's how you'll know you're finished. And then you're just going to click Send the Test Email, and it will send you a test email, and you'll be able to see if it looks just like this and if you're happy with the way it rendered. So that's how you edit an existing template. When you're done with that, you're simply going to go back here, and now you can see this one that starts with CR. That's how I can know that I've edited it or personalized it and it's good to go, because I've got my initials at the beginning. Then I would probably set a takedown schedule that I would do 2 of these a week. So it takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to tell myself that I'm going to personalize 2 of these a week till I get them all done. But what if I want to create my own template from scratch? Or I have an email that I use a lot and I have it saved over in my Outlook, but I want to create a template using that over here. How do I go about creating something from scratch? Well, you're going to go up here to the middle button that says Create Templates. When you click on Create Templates, you still have even more choices. And over here in Library, if you're really creative and you enjoy it, you might want to click on Library. There's some really cool templates in there that you could personalize if you wanted to. But the main one we use about 95% of the time, it's really handy, is this Basic Editor. And so that's one we're going to use today. We're just going to click on Basic Editor. When we do that, it asks me, what do I want to name my template? And if you are paying attention, I hope you remember, what is the first thing you always want to put in the name of your template? That's your initials. So I'm going to put my initials so they're all grouped together. And I'm going to create something here that I think everybody should have. It's a generic email. That's when I'm in the customer profile and I just want to rip off an email to them really quickly that says, where's your W-2s? Or why didn't you come in for your appointment? I don't have to get out of their template and go all the way out back over to Outlook, because I know me, if I go over to Outlook, I'll be in my emails all day and I won't finish what I was doing in Lasso. So I'm just going to call this one, this is my generic template. And it says, where do I want to save it? So I'm going to click here and select where I want to save it. I want to put it in Colleen's templates. I'm going to say create and edit the template. When I do that, it takes me back to this environment, which is very comfortable. I was just here. I know how to use it. Looks like a lot like email. The next thing that I have to do, note it's in red, you have to do it, and that's create a subject line. Now the subject line is the most important line of the entire email. You could be giving away homes for free down here in the body, but if you can't make them open it with a great subject line, it doesn't matter what you put in there. So spend a lot of time on your subject line. Make sure that it says who you are, that it gives them some with them. Is there a special offer, a home that won't last? Is it a 3-2, 15? What's the discount on it? Give them something that makes them want to open it or personalize it. For example, right now, I'm going to come back to this one in a second. I'm going to personalize it, but I want to do something first. I'm going to come down into the body of the email. And I know that in this email, I'm going to want to say hello, and I want to insert that registrant token that's going to drop in their first name. How do I put that in there so I don't ever have to type a first name again? Well, I'm going to come up here to this bracelet, which is where I inserted a link on my email. I'm going to go right above that to that insert and drop down, and I'm going to click on it, and it's going to show me registrant tokens there. Now there's a whole bunch of registrant tokens listed there, and you can use any of them, but I've been doing this quite a while. The only one I've ever used is this first name right here. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to drop it right in there, and I'm going to put a comma after it. But you know what? I want to use that. I want to put that up in the subject line like they did before. So I'm simply going to copy that. I'm going to come up here to the subject line, and I'm going to say, hi, and now I'm going to paste that little string there. And I'm going to say, hi, Colleen from Palm Harbor here. And I'm going to hope that that level of personalization on my generic emails will get them to open it, or I can edit it to be whatever I want when I send out my generic email. So now I'm going to skip a couple of blank lines here to give myself some room to type in whatever generic email I'm going to send them. And then I'm going to put in my salutation. And Palm Harbor in Addison. I'll put in my phone number. Then I'm going to put in my email. And I'm doing this for a reason. I know it seems a little bit simplistic, but I want to show you something here, so bear with me for a moment. And then I could even put in here, follow me on Facebook. Not sure why it's doing that. Facebook, and come back and link that as well. Now, you'll notice that this seems very tiny, and it is. For some reason, our email creator defaults to Verdana 8-point. Verdana is not an attractive font at all. If you send it out, you'll see that. I typically change it to Arial. You can use anything else you like if you like Comic Sans or whatever, but I've never offended anybody with Arial, so I usually click over to that. And then on font size, you can choose what you want. I like 12. It's not screaming like a 14, but it's large enough for people to read. So I've changed everything now to Arial 12-point. And you can go and copy your nicely formatted signature block from out of Outlook and come over here and paste it in. But I can tell you that when you do that, it's going to strip out all the formatting. So I wanted to just show you really quickly here a couple of things that you can do in the formatting. For example, I'm going to highlight my name, and I'm going to bold it, and then I'm going to come over here to text color. I'm going to pick a pretty blue. I like blue. Everybody likes blue. Then I'm going to come down here where it says Palm Harbor Addison, and I remember from my training that Colleen said there's something that should be in every single email that goes out from Lasso. And I think that was a link to the website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up here to my little handcuffs or my little bracelets, and I'm going to link Palm Harbor and Addison to our web address. And I'm going to put in www.addison.palmharbor.com, which it's already got there. And I'm going to enable my website tracking because I want to plant cookies for the future, so I reap more benefits from this. And when I do, notice there's a reason I do this. It takes that back to the default, which is Verdana 8-point. So I'm going to run that back up to Arial 12-point. Just wanted to do that so you noticed. Then I'm going to take phone, and I'm going to bold that, and I'm going to change the color here to a nice gray color, and do the same here. And I'm going to bold it and turn it gray. So there are lots of things that you can do in here, and I just wanted to show you, and then we could also link this over to Facebook. When I'm done, I'm going to click Save Template. And so that gives me a nice little email that I can send out that's generic, where I can type in the text. Now, this is where everybody asks me, hey Colleen, what if I want to insert a photo into my template? Can I do that? Absolutely. So I'm going to take this opportunity to show you in this little generic template here how we would insert a photo. What you're going to do is remember that this is where this insert link, this is where we added the link and we created the magic for the cookies. This right here is where we went if we wanted to get the registrant token of the first name. And then completing that little triangle here is a little picture of photo, and it says insert and edit images. When I do, I'm going to click on that one because I do want to add an image. And when I get here, it says, okay, Colleen, where's the source of this image? Where are you going to go look for it? I'm going to click on this picture of the file folder here, and it's going to take me out to my files. And then I'm going to click on Bossier City Images. Let's say what I'd like you to do is if you click on your store and the images map, you're going to be able to add photos right here, and eventually this will turn into a very nice gallery of photos. So when I get here to where I want to add the images, I'm going to go up here because I have to upload something, and I'm going to click on the upload button. When you click on the upload button, this is going to take you to the environment that you're used to. This is going to take you to your desktop where you can add in an image. And I'm going to grab one here from this computer that I'm on. And that's the image that I'm going to add. And I'm going to say, when I'm happy with it, I'm going to say open. That's the one I want to add. You can add as many images as you want in here, and it will tell you when it's finished uploading. And if that's the one I want to insert into the email, I'll just come here and click Insert. Again, I could choose as many as I wanted. I will encourage you, however, not to use more than 2 or 3 in an email that you're going to send out in a mass email, because that will kind of prevent a lot of the deliveries because it'll be spotted as spam. So I like to pick the best one, and then I'll show you what to do with it. And when we click Insert here, you'll see that there's some dimensions down here. And I'm not going to bore you with a lot of details about dimensions and pictures. Again, just another life hack. If you will change that first dimension to 400, and then just click OK, that's going to make your image the size that you can handle. Have you ever opened an image and it's so big you have to keep reducing it? With this one, you can either increase the size, or decrease, whatever you want it to do. Now let's pretend that was the image of a home, and then right underneath it I might want to put click here to see more photos of this label available from Palm Harbor in Addison. So what I want them to do is to be able to click on both the text and the link and go to my website. So I would highlight both the text and the picture, then I would navigate to my website and to the page that either had this one that had the label as a display home or as a floor plan, depending upon which way I wanted to go. I would copy the address of that page and then come back here and click on my links one more time, and I would paste that URL there, which I don't have anything right now, and I would click enable website tracking and say OK. So if I had the URL and could navigate away from that page, I would have inserted a link to the label display model on my website, as well as this right here. And then when I sent that email, whoever clicked on the picture or the text would go to see that label on my website. Also, I would plant a cookie on their device because I did it the right way, and I would know when they had come to visit me, and I could follow up with them. So when I'm happy with everything, I just click Save Template, and I'm going to go back to Template Edit. This would probably be one, if I had done a lot of formatting, I might want to send myself, so I could send the test email, enter my email address. But for sake of time, I'm going to stop right there. And now when I come back here, you can see that in my list of templates, I have this first one that I've edited and the new one that I've created. And I'll be able to send those out. And I'm sure you have questions about where and how to send those out. And I'm going to address those in the next little video that we talk about. There's another video that'll be linked right after this one, because we also have to talk about how to create the list that we're going to send all these to. So this is the email. This so far in this little segment, we've learned how to create a folder for our templates, how to edit an existing template, how to create a brand new template, and how to copy and move templates from one file folder to another. So please watch the next video, in which we'll learn how to set up a list, and then how to create a mass mail to follow up with your registrants.